Damar Hamlin recently caught a ton of backlash for a jacket he wore at this past Sunday's Super Bowl. And Damar Hamlin is the gentleman who had a cardiac arrest moment on the field. The nation rallied together, prayed for him, and he's since recovered and is doing much better. But it's caused some controversy regarding this specific topic, him getting called out by other football players and the internet doing what the internet does. So we're going to be looking at all the particulars about this. We're going to be looking at who is the designer for this, and I think a reasonable resolution to this. So Hamlin was in attendance at the Super Bowl to help honor the emergency personnel that saved his life on the field in Cincinnati, and he wore a Takashi Murakami jacket, not Tekashi 6ix9ine, Takashi Murakami. This is an important point to note. So we're going to come back to who that is in a moment. According to TMZ, Peterson saw the jacket and posted a photo of social media. So this is Peterson who called him out, okay? He said, "You should be thanking God, son. This is blasphemy. We all fall short, but come on. I find this disrespectful. Grateful God did." Former NFL running back Fred Taylor immediately jumped in to Hamlin's defense, saying Peterson should have contacted him directly before blowing him up online. You should DM him, bro. I'm sure he's listened to your opinion, okay? And so these two ended up talking about the jacket, and he kind of walked back some of the call out. And so here is the jacket in question, okay? And it's designed by Takashi Murakami, okay? And apparently it's titled the Travis Jesus jacket, okay? I guess the face of this looks like a chain that Travis Scott has of Jesus that looks really weird and bizarre. And at first I thought maybe this design, this one right here, is some sort of Eastern iconography of Jesus. I just recently went to Israel, and what you'll notice is that in the Oriental Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, their iconography of Jesus looks a little different than the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus we have in America. Their Jesus looks a little different. But then the more I looked at it closer, I was like, holy moly, this ain't iconography. This is some weirdo stuff, right? And so the internet pointed out that this $3,100 jacket is something about Travis Scott. And then they started connecting the dots and saying Travis Scott sacrificed his fans in a ritual at Astroworld. He made the piece famous by commissioning a jeweler to turn the image into a large rhinestone-encrusted pendant. Okay, so we got the jacket and we got Travis Scott. Okay, now, as people did more research, they found out that this jacket actually came out before any of the Astroworld tragedy. However, it is important to note that the jacket was created ahead of the Astroworld tragedy, meaning this did not happen as Travis Scott mocking what happened there, okay? Former NFL star Anderson Peterson also slammed Damar gently. We just talked about Peterson slamming Hamlin for the choice of clothing attire. You should be thanking God. This is blasphemy. So who is Takashi Murakami, the designer of the Travis Jesus jacket? Murakami is a celebrated Japanese artist and entrepreneur. He is best known for adopting the aesthetic of traditional Japanese art into pop culture context. He received a bachelor's from fine arts, and he's been in the fashion industry for a while. So this is who designed the jacket. This is him wearing the jacket. And this is kind of where we are as of right now with this specific piece. But there's more to the story. But before we get there, I got to make sure that you know something.
Hey, you want to see something crazy? Over 51% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. And the ones that are subscribed, only 10% have their bell notification on. So do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on so you don't miss anything we have going here. All right? I appreciate you.
This is him highlighting some of the response in Instagram. This is him replying to that, okay? And he said, someone who gets it, so this is after the person who defended him, okay? And so Damar says, someone who gets it, Hamlin wrote, I never disrespect my Lord and Savior. Art is expressed in many ways. I wore the jacket because it's a popular brand. And let's check this out. This is an interesting take. That aligns more with God than not. This is a tribute in an artistic way, not disrespect. But for those who don't understand that and think otherwise, then I apologize. So you have the internet doing what the internet does. You have the connection to Travis Scott and Astroworld, which that's some serious recognizance work there. You have other football players calling him out over this. And then you have the art connection, and his response is like, it's a cool jacket, and quote, this brand aligns more with God than not. And there's a profession of faith in Jesus, okay? He later doubled down on all of this and went on Twitter, and this is as of 3 hours ago. Apologized for it. After talking with my parents, I understand how my coat, I love the fact that he calls it a coat, by the way, how my coat could have offended some people. It was never my intentions to hurt or disrespect anyone. That coat is abstract art to me. It says eternal, which I am internally thankful to my Savior. My beliefs and relationship with God is not tied to symbolic images. I will learn from this and continue to walk in love as I always have. Matthew 7, 1 through 5. Okay? And this is about the judgment passage that we all know, people like to quote. So here he's clearing this up. He's like, look, man, I love Jesus. I love the Lord. The jacket was just meant as art. He's not trying to make a theological statement. He's not trying to do anything that is intended to hurt anybody's feelings. Yet some people responded in the total opposite way. And this would be my question for the people that came for this dude's neck. My question would be, when we respond with this sort of vitriol over something that, maybe that was in poor taste, maybe that was not the jacket I would have chose to wear, but the pure vitriol people came at him with and all this stuff. Are we doing this from a genuine concern to correct seemingly a fellow brother in the Lord? He's professing faith in Jesus. He seems to be a Christian. I don't know much about him besides his profession, so let's just give him the benefit of the doubt here for a second. Are we doing it from a place of love, concern, and correction? Or are we doing it because we're trying to overcompensate for other areas of our lives that maybe are incongruent? You see this all the time with people that are really into calling out this thing as satanic, or this thing as demonic, or this thing is bad, this conspiracy thing, this Illuminati thing, but have massive issues in their own lives, in their own marriages, in their own families, with their own finances, with their own devotion to Jesus. And I think what sometimes can happen is that you're trying to overcompensate for the lack of personal intimacy that you have to Jesus, that you're called to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, that you're called to carry your cross, that you're called and you will give an account for all your words. Instead of coming down on this kid, Damar Hamlin, who's had a wild past couple months and is grateful and is saying all the things that seem to be genuine and aren't coming from a malicious place, when do we slow down and extend charity and extend mercy and extend good faith arguments and believe the best and pray versus come for somebody's neck because maybe not the best art choice or fashion choice? It seems like this stuff keeps happening, and it seems like more and more people are going to come out, and instead of directly addressing it with charity, and charity, by charity, I just mean you believe the best about the person. I don't think Damar was out here just after the incident that happened on the field mocking Jesus intentionally. I don't think that was his heart. Even if he wasn't a follower of Jesus and professing Jesus, I don't think that was his heart. I think he's extremely grateful that he didn't pass away. And I think he's extremely grateful that he still gets to play football. And I think he was just there enjoying himself, and he wore something he thought was fly. So those are kind of some of the questions I have. If you want to hear my assessment of the Super Bowl and how it could have been the most Christian Super Bowl ever, we addressed the He Gets Us campaign. We addressed Rihanna's pregnancy announcement. We address all that in this video. You can check that out. And if you want to go the extra mile, partner with us in our online community for only $5 a month. Less than 1% of the people who watch this channel actually partner with us. You can partner with us right here for $5 a month. I'll see you over there. Peace.